welcome to the NYXUS podcast. I'm Melany Nix, your host. Tonight, Grief Police. Go ahead, introduce yourself, guys.
Hi, we are Grief Police. We're a band from Norfolk, Nebraska. We're comprised of 3 to 4 members, and I'm Jared. This is Desmond. Hello.
Tonight we have 2 or the 3 to 4 members.
Yeah.
Good to have you guys. How'd you guys come up with the name Grief Police?
I think Jared came up with it. I learned it after it was formed. So if you want to tell them.
Yeah, I guess there's been a lot of death and hardship in our community, and people can be kind of rude about it on both ends of the deal, and I think that grief is a process that is very personal and very subjective, and so the idea of it is not really a good thing, but I thought it was a cool name.
I mean, it is a cool name, so you got that part right. I mean, it's a good explanation. It's a good name. I mean, like you said, with everything going down, I was going to say lately, but I mean forever.
Yeah.
I mean, let's be honest. How'd you guys all link up? Because you just said that you just joined after the name and everything. So what's the story of the band?
So originally our lead guitarist was a friend I've had pretty much all my life, and he just kind of hit me up out of nowhere. We'd been working on some stuff a couple months beforehand and had planned to do something with that, but he came back from his little vacation that he took and just out of nowhere was like, hey, you want to be the bass player in this band I made with this friend I have? And I was like, sure, I guess. I'm not doing anything else. So Ethan and Jared, I don't know how they met, but I've known Ethan since we were in kindergarten. So that's how I ended up meeting Jared and joining the band. And our original drummer ended up leaving, but he also was a friend of Ethan's. I'm not really sure how. I think they knew each other from... he went to a different high school than I did, so I think they met that way. But he ended up leaving, and Ethan left not too long ago. So it's been me, Jared, and we have a drummer that joined probably like a month or 2 ago. And so we're the only 3 official members right now, but I'm not really sure how Jared and Ethan met or anything. So I don't know if you want to talk about that.
Yeah, I met Ethan outside of a local show one time downtown in Norfolk, and we just got to talking, and after a while we decided to work together, and he was going to produce an album of mine that I wanted to make. And by the time we were done with the album, it was so much different than what I had originally planned, and I was like, we should just make this, we should make it a band. Like, it was going to be a solo album. So it was up under just Jared's Deadman for 2 weeks, and then we just took it down and made it into a group project, and we did a bunch of shows over the summer, and then, now there's been some members switching, but we're just keeping on pushing.
I mean, it happens a lot, so that's something that a lot of bands, especially COVID kind of got better, everything kind of started getting back into the swing of things, getting more shows, and then you saw more bands kind of lose a member here and there, and but I mean, that's just a sad reality of music, is that it's hard to keep a band together. When you do keep a band together, you kind of you have the winning formula, I could say.
Yeah.
Let's use quotation marks there, because who would be your dream collaborations?
Oh, I've never even thought about that, man. That's a tough question.
I'd love to pick
Oh, I lost the audio there for.
Oh, Isaac Brock from
Yeah.
Modest Mouse. I'd love to see what he has to say about some things. I like everything he's put out.
I'd probably have to say Frank Iero from My Chemical Romance. I like a lot of the stuff he did afterwards, and it's just I find a lot of inspiration from his guitar playing because like even though he wasn't a lead player, like he had some pretty complex stuff going on.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I try to draw some inspiration from what he did. I'd like to hear what he has to say about how I play his songs and the writing and art.
That would
Hey,
be
Matt.
cool, yeah. What's up, Matt? Matt is the audio engineer for the NYXUS podcast.
Cool.
Sarah's here. Sarah says Frank was so amazing.
Right.
Let's see. Dream collaboration. So then, let's go for a fun question. Superheroes. If you could have your own superpower, what would it be?
I think time travel would be pretty cool. Go back and change some things up.
Oh, that's dangerous. That is dangerous.
Yeah, that would
What about you, man?
be. Flying. Definitely flying.
Make it easier to get to your gigs. No gas.
Yeah. For sure.
Exactly, Sarah. The butterfly effect. That's what made me nervous about that answer. Maybe I'd be sitting here with like a third leg, but like on my forehead or something. I mean, shit could go really wrong if you do that. So
Yeah,
if
I know
ever,
what you're talking about.
if ever you get a choice, please don't touch anything. Don't step on a bug. Don't. You've ever seen that Simpson episode? You know what I'm talking about.
Mhm.
What's your favorite time of day to create? Are you guys night owls or early?
I think most often we usually get together like, around evening time, but that's just because like we both have work and we both got a kid and everything, so we just gotta find a few hours that we get every now and then to work on what we can while we have the time away from our kids' responsibilities for a little bit.
I felt that. I really did. Sarah says maybe I could self-deprecate. Please don't. Please don't. I love Sarah. I'm just kidding with her. I mean, I would love to have that power, especially right now, so I could do like more than one interview at the same time. It would be pretty awesome. Or book for 7 days and not be exhausted at the end of the week. I mean, that could also be pretty good. What made you guys want to become musicians?
I don't know. I had a friend that played a guitar a while back, and I thought it was really cool to see. And I just like I was hanging around him a lot, so eventually it got to the point where like I was trying to pick it up and play it. So my grandpa ended up giving me the bass I have now. He gave that to me for a Christmas present, and I just pretty much taught myself. And I don't know, it's just something it's very soothing, and also you can get like really complicated, and it's just a very good hobby. There's always something new to learn.
Absolutely.
It's just a very fun thing to do. So once you kind of get to it, it's hard to put down.
For me, I'd say I saw a music video one time on TV, and that I was like, I want to do that, and then some older kids put me on to like Death Cab for Cutie and Bright Eyes and that type of stuff, and so I had a really weird junior high school experience. But yeah, I was like, I want to make stuff kind of like
You wanted to make your own sound, your own music.
yeah. I feel like I have things to say.
I get that. If you guys could create your own tour lineup, so let's go with 5 bands, including Grief Police. And I'll give you a bonus, dead or alive. So you could bring back anybody from the dead to play with you.
Oh, this is good.
So 2 bands each.
2 bands each.
Who are we going to see with the Grief Police tour?
That's a tough one. I probably want Hot Mulligan on there. Hot Mulligan's pretty good, I think.
Yeah. Waves. Waves is sick.
I'm not sure. I want to see something else like super this
Hmm.
Yeah, probably say Modern Baseball just to be funny about it, I guess.
Modern baseball.
I do like Modern Baseball.
Deftones. I just got into them like just last
Really?
month. Yeah, I
Really?
don't know how they slipped through the cracks.
Because there's too many good bands. We were talking about that at the last interview. And I'm saying like how I discover so many new bands with these interviews, especially with these questions. There's so many bands
Yeah.
that come up, and I'm like, I have no clue. So I always have my pen and I'm writing down some notes, and I'm like, okay, yeah, Sarah said made me feel old. I mean, and that's what I'm discovering is that there's so many good bands out there that we can't know them all. Like we
Yeah.
just can't.
That's pretty unfortunate too.
Yes. Well, so I think somebody said last episode that they haven't heard Rammstein or something, and I was like,
I don't think
Oh.
I've heard them either. So.
see,
Right?
there you go. There you
We have
go.
a slight generational difference. About 9 years. I think.
There's Rammstein's still making music right now. They just came out with a new song, so I mean,
Those guys are crazy.
they are insane. This video is 8 minutes long. It is completely worth it. The song is crazy. The video is even more insane. I mean, those guys are just incredible. I still don't understand fuck all of what they're talking about, but they're amazing. Other than music, do you guys have any hobbies? I mean, you said kids, so I know kids take a lot of time. So
Yeah, I got a little 2-year-old right now. She's adorable. She takes up a lot of time. But I'd say besides music and watching my kid and going to work, probably say I like to work on cars. I haven't done anything too crazy with anything, but there's definitely something I like a lot. I invest a lot of time and unfortunately money too.
the cars is an expensive hobby.
Yeah.
And a 2-year-old takes a lot of time. I have an almost 3-year-old right now, so
Yeah, my little girl, she loves to say no and walk away when she's told to pick up her toys and everything.
he's almost 3. He's still in it. So I mean, I'm not trying to discourage you.
Yeah, they can be little monsters, but they're so cute.
They are. He's amazing. He's just a 3-year-old that has a lot more energy than I do. If we could bottle up that energy, imagine how much money we could make. Just to bottle up that toddler energy and just sip it when you need it. I mean, I think it would be better than a Red Bull or coffee or both at the same time.
Yeah.
So what's the plans in the upcoming months?
Okay, so we have Halloween is going to be fun. We've got the 28th. We're playing the 8th annual Halloween party at Down Under in Omaha. And then the 29th, we're playing the Reverb Lounge in Omaha for Fright Night 23. And then the 31st, we're playing Halloween at Razor Wire Productions.
So a lot of Halloween fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You
it's
think-
gonna be a lot of driving.
You think you guys are gonna put any costumes on for the show for Halloween?
I've been thinking about it.
Yeah, I don't know. We'll have to discuss that. But I don't have anything as of right now.
I have a hot dog costume that
I mean-
I wore last year.
Oh, that could work.
I mean, you like cars. Do you have that, that blue overall that mechanics wear? And you
Oh
could just
no.
go get yourself like a Jason mask, and there you go. You just have to be creepy and, you know.
Yeah, I just gotta hope I can see the guitar through the mask.
That might be a challenge. Sarah says I have a 13-year-old that still says no one walks away. My 13 and my 11-year-old do that too. So I feel you there completely. What would be the best piece of advice another musician ever gave you?
Oh, probably practice like you're performing. Because if you don't do it in practice, there's no way you're doing it on the stage. Like, I remember back when I first started playing music, people would be like, in my very first bands that never made anything, who barely even practiced ever, would be like, "Oh, well, are you gonna do this during practice?" And I'm like, "No, I'll do it when we perform." And then like it's time to perform, and you just lock up pretty much.
Yeah.
You never put yourself through that motion. And it's just it makes it so much easier to do everything when you practice it. I don't know. This guy probably has heard a lot more than me, but that's
I mean, that's some good advice.
Yeah, kind of on that same note. Our friend Justin Wallen from Saltwater Sanctuary, he always says, perform like you're performing for 1,000 people, like no matter how many people are there.
You never know who that
Yeah.
one person sitting there could be.
yeah.
Absolutely. Another band said the same thing. Doesn't
And-
matter if there's 1, 5, or 100 people, you got to give it your all.
Yeah, and
He really does. It's crazy.
it just makes it so much more entertaining for the people that are there. Because like if you're just up there just like strumming along, singing all monotone, like with no energy, no one's gonna find it interesting. It's not gonna sound good.
Oh,
And like people will tell their friends, but they won't remember the name, and all they're gonna say is, "Oh, I saw this terrible band."
I agree, not with the terrible band, obviously, but I agree with the sentiment of you got to give your energy.
Yeah.
The crowd feeds off of you, you feed off the crowd.
Yeah,
If
it's
you're
like-
standing still and you're not giving any energy, the crowd will kind of repress. The crowd will just stand there and kind of listen to you.
I think that's how we were back in like February. I think our first show was in February, and
it was
it
so
was
bad.
not good. A little less not good, and then decent, and then we had a couple really good ones. And it's just like, oh, another piece of advice, bombing is like really good for you. Just a couple times,
Yeah.
like right in the beginning.
Just like once or twice.
Just totally bomb a show, and it makes it so much easier from that day forward.
Yeah, it's like how much worse can you do? You already did absolutely terrible. So
only one way up, and it's up from here.
Exactly.
I mean, you can't expect to be at your A++, the first show. You gotta. It's like when I re-listened to my first podcast compared to now. My first podcast, it's like, hi, I am Melany. You know what I mean? Like, it was really bad, and now I'm like, just glancing at the question, it's getting more comfortable. I mean, I hope after 50-something podcasts, but it's the same thing with your shows. As
Yeah.
you're going on, as you're doing more shows, at one point it kind of becomes second nature. Like
Yeah.
you said, also, if you practice the way you're going to perform, then it is second nature because you've done this so many times. I'm sure whoever's here right now watching is interested in knowing what you guys sound like. So what should we go with first? Under My Skin or Cold to Me?
ooh,
You can pick this one.
I think I want to listen to Under My Skin first, honestly.
All right. So we'll set it up for Under My Skin. You guys want to give us a little something about the song? Is it
Whoa.
It's about, I guess, getting older and having to make crucial changes in your life, and not really wanting to come to terms with that, maybe.
Well, there you
Yeah.
go.
I do just want to say that at upcoming performances, it's going to sound a bit different because in this, it was when Ethan was still playing with us, and also when I was playing bass. So it's kind of different from now, but the recording is what it originally was when he was in the band with us.
Well, I think every time a band member changes, there's an element to the song that changes, and it's never a bad thing.
Yeah.
It's just that this person is bringing who they are to the band.
Yeah, everyone's a bit different, especially with something as creative as like instruments.
Exactly. Everything evolves with time, and I think that's how people have to see it. But let's give them at least a taste of what you guys can sound like, and then it'll be a pleasure for me to play one of your songs once you guys record with the new lineup. And yeah,
Oh yeah.
so let's give them a taste of Under My Skin. We'll be right back, guys.
I need you to stop calling in the middle of the night. I don't know if I started drinking again or what, but I'm happy to call. I can't talk to you anymore. This is final one wrong. I'm sorry, don't call back.
And we are back. I'm here with Grief Police. This was Under My Skin. Amazing song, guys. I mean,
Thank you. Thank
I
you.
remember waking up on the bathroom floor also. A few times. A few times, yes.
Good.
It's a really good song. It sounds. You guys have a familiar sound. You sound, and you don't. I don't mean you sound like somebody necessarily, but you guys have a familiar sound. It feels like I've heard you a million times before. I think it's because you remind me of when I was a little younger. Yes, punk to the core.
Nice. Thank you.
Remind me of my 20s.
Yeah.
That's been a long time, but yes, thank you for bringing me back for a few minutes. Thank you for bringing me back for a few minutes there. Let's place an evil curse on you guys right now. And for the rest of your life, you can only listen to one song.
Oh, shoot.
What song are we listening to?
Studio by Phil Collins.
Okay.
I think I'd say Conversations by Aries.
Very nice choices. Sorry, Matt.
I haven't heard that song.
Still not your choice. Matt's waiting for somebody to say Bat Out of Hell from Meatloaf. Not tonight, Matt. Matt wants to know, where do you record and who mixes?
Right now, we record remotely, just like each part separately, send it around, and stuff like that. We recorded the album at the college here in town.
Cool.
We had access to the recording studio, and it turned out really well. Ethan did all the mixing for that. He's a great producer. But nowadays, yeah, it's kind of just DIY stuff all around. And then we might be having somebody master it in Omaha, a friend of ours, but still working that out.
Well, I'm going to take a wild guess that Matt asked the question because he will now offer. Go ahead, Matt. Write it. I know what you're going to write. I can mix and master for you guys. Matt loves to mix and master. He loves to help the indie bands that we have on the show. So if you guys would ever like to have Matt do anything for you, just message him.
Yeah, that would be awesome.
Yeah.
See?
Um,
You know.
A lot of most. I don't think I'm on like any recordings. I don't think I'm on any of them as of right now, just because they already had recorded the whole album by the time I joined. So a lot of what I used to play for bass, and especially what I play for guitar now, just isn't on the album. Under My Skin was the only song that had like the accurate bass part that I played. But now that I no longer play bass, we're gonna just leave it up to whoever's playing that part that day. We like to
That day.
yeah, until we get a permanent member, hopefully. But we usually like to let whoever's filling in just kind of do whatever, as long as it sounds good, isn't too over the top,
Yeah.
And if it is over the top, it's like, as long as it's done well, like we just let people play to their ability, pretty much. And
Well, absolutely.
it usually turns out pretty well for us. I remember it was Damon Wolf, right? He filled in.
Yeah, he's really good.
Yeah, he had some very nice leads when we played at Razor Wire, our last show, I believe. And before that, it was one of Jared's friends, Trevor Blumenthal. Yeah, and he was really good. He played with us at the Mint, and I think we both agreed that our last time at the Mint was probably one of our best shows yet. Yeah, it had a very good turnout, and a very good crowd, and everything. And it was just a really fun show.
Well, eventually, I'm guessing you guys are going to re-record the songs when you do have your lineup, when you do have your members
Yeah.
solidified. I'm guessing you guys are going to re-record everything, right?
Yeah, probably make a double album with the old songs that we're remastering, and then all the new ones that we've been writing, which is I can't even anywhere from 8 to 12 of them that we've got in just notebooks in my garage. Every time we practice, it's like we come up with another one.
Yeah, I've heard a lot of bands say that. They're like, yeah, we're supposed to be practicing for our set, but here we are practicing with some new riffs, and we're like, yeah, you like this?
Yeah.
How about this one? So
That's what always ends up happening.
it's very common. Don't feel too bad. Don't feel too like it's very common.
Yeah, we always have a good time when we get together to practice. Hopefully, we're going to practice after we're done with this.
Yeah.
As long as I can find someone to keep watching my kid. But
I mean, let her run around. Give her some. I got lucky. My oldest one is keeping an eye on her on the baby right now. I usually have him running around. I mean, I tell all my guests before we start, like, I have a toddler running around, so eventually you'll hear him scream or come and see me for something. I mean,
Yeah.
it's part of life. It's there's not much I can do.
yeah, this is how it is.
They're
Well-
tiny humans.
I have a question for you. Where are you guys based out of?
Okay, so I am right now in North Carolina.
Nice.
I don't come from here, so the accent, you can't place me anywhere in the States. I'm French Canadian. I come from Montreal, Canada.
Nice,
Whoa.
nice.
I'm just
How long have you been here?
a
Is
year,
that
a year and a half. A little more than a year and a half now, I'd say. Yeah. Yeah.
My condolences.
Thank you. Canada's really a shit show too right now, though. So I
Really?
mean, yeah, it's the same thing. Stupid politics, and it's like that everywhere, right? So
Yeah.
it's just you guys. It's like the U.S. is even more blown out, though. It's like the whole world is talking about the U.S.
Yeah, all the time, I think.
Yeah, so everybody else is kind of swept under the rug. You guys don't hear too much of it, but I talk from people from back home, and they're like, "Oh, it's a shit show," So.
Yeah, I watch some YouTubers I've seen some YouTubers that have been talking about how they've gotten in trouble for some stuff they've said online about the government there, how they're like getting sued sometimes and losing their jobs and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The protests with the truckers where they were shutting off the bank accounts and using
Yes.
bank accounts of people like who like supported the protest and everything. It was pretty wild, I thought, because then when it came out, the Canadian government was still being like people were like, so we don't have the right to protest or we don't have the right to free speech, and they're like, no, you do, just you have to be responsible with what you say. And it's like, so we don't, but
It's
I don't
no.
know, it's crazy.
That's the thing, but that's through COVID, I think, is when everybody realized how bad the Canadian government and the Quebec government, where my province, it wasn't well managed. Everything was a shit show. To come here and see my family, to see my kids and my girlfriend, my fiance, it was. I couldn't come unless when I came back, I had to pay out of pocket for a hotel for 2 weeks.
Jeez.
Yeah. And I had to do a COVID test before leaving Canada, before leaving here. And it was ridiculous. I couldn't take a trip. It would have ended up costing me like close to $3,000 to try to take a trip to come and see my family.
Yeah, that's insane.
I mean, we had curfews, 8 p.m. curfews, and I felt like I was a kid again. Like, can't get out of your house after 8 p.m.? No. Like, it was
That's insane.
ridiculous. So, yes, it is a shit show here, but it is a shit show up there, too. They just don't talk about it too much.
Yeah, they're in a bit more trouble than we do.
I mean, compared to, the big stories here about politics, it's hard to... with everything going down right now, it's hard to beat that. That's like headlines everywhere. If you guys could be remembered for one thing, what would it be?
Oh.
It could be musically, or it could be just in day-to-day life.
I think, yeah, I think I'd want to be remembered for probably, I don't know, like, I don't know, like, I try to be a helpful person, so I guess that could be something nice too, but, you know, get it remembered just a bit longer if you do it for music.
I don't know. That's a tough question. I'd like to be remembered fondly.
That's a good answer. That's a good answer. I mean, I'd like to be remembered for somebody that always had her heart on her sleeve. You know what I mean? There's no bad answer. There's a lot of these questions are very personal. There's no good or wrong answer. It's how you are, how you feel. Let's see. If I play a song right now that brings you back to your childhood memories, what song am I playing?
Nothing good, probably. I'd say my most PG answer is probably Radioactive by Imagine Dragons. I was a child when that came out. So.
Yes.
What kind of childhood are we talking? Like
Anything. Anything. If it's a song that brings you way, way back, it brings you way, way back.
Walking After Midnight by Patsy Cline.
I think I have a better answer, actually. I'll say Sitting at a Bar by Rehab.
Okay.
My mom used to listen to that song a lot. And that's probably... She used to listen to, like, a lot of Akon and stuff. So...
I'm not laughing at the song choices. I'm laughing at the obvious what's up, anger overdose, the obvious age gap between, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
my mom used to listen to a lot of Akon, and I'm like, oh my god.
My mom wouldn't let me listen to Akon.
No, I don't know. The only good song I can remember is Sitting at a Bar, probably. It's I still enjoy it. I think it's a pretty decent song.
It's not a bad song. Not a bad song at all. How would you guys define success as artists? Like, what is success to you? Booking huge tours, making a bunch of money?
Making enough money to quit my job.
Yeah, making enough money to survive is probably.
Also, Tiny Desk contest. I'd like to win that. I'd be fine after that.
Yeah, I think to say you're successful, I don't know, maybe it's having more money than like you need, but I'd say I'd be happy with just to not need a job and it be my job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I might say that I would be happy with this, and then I get this, and I'm like, well, not yet. We need something else.
Just a little more.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's how it usually goes.
But that would be the first step of success, would be to be able to not have a day job, to be able to live off of your music and support your family off of your music.
Yeah, I'd say it's at least the first step.
There you go. I mean, we can have another interview after you guys accomplish that, and I'll ask you again, what now is your definition of success?
and we'll say, well, the first step is making $1 million.
There you go. It's that $1 million. Well, let's take a break and listen to maybe a song that could make you $1 million one day. Let's listen to Cold to Me, and we'll be back after to talk some more with you guys.
All right,
cool.
we're back with Grief Police. So what was this song about, guys?
It's about an old person that I had a kid with, and the kind of just like a narrative of like the old story arc of that. Things are much different now, but
Yeah,
you gotta tell
absolutely.
the story.
I mean, you got to get it off your chest, and music is a great way to get things off our chest. So,
Yeah.
absolutely. We're getting closer to the end of the episode, so I'll shoot a few questions, and I always finish up with that same one question that I'll keep for later.
Okay.
Let's see. How would you describe your music? Not a genre, but just how do you describe your music?
Really upbeat and really sad.
Yeah. First word that comes to mind is kind of like dirty, but not like in a gross way. You know, just like I'd say it's kind of like dirty sound.
All right. I can dig that. The three most influential people in your life musically, whether it's somebody you know personally or an artist that you're inspired by.
I think I'd probably go with Frank Iero, like I was talking about earlier. I really like. I taught myself to play guitar, learned My Chemical Romance songs because at the time I was a big fan of them. So, and I wasn't good enough to play the lead parts, so I ended up playing a lot of Frank Iero's writing.
Yep.
And it's just, I really like how he writes his guitar parts and everything, and I think they usually sound pretty good. And probably say our friend Dave. Dave is a big musical inspiration to me for sure.
Me too.
He's just so like everything he does is like awesome to listen to, and it's just he's been playing music longer than I've been alive, and it's just like awesome to see the things he can make and the ways he helps us out. It's really cool. And then finish off, I'd probably have to say. Yeah, let's think about that for a second. Well, I like Tony Perry from Pierce the Veil.
Okay.
He's the lead guitarist. I think he has some underrated playing, honestly. Pierce the Veil has a lot of fans, but I don't think he's appreciated enough, like for what he can do. He has some pretty sick parts out there.
For me, I'd say that like the lyrics are the most important part of the song for me personally. Just 'cause I try to choose them deliberately, and some inspirations I've had are Connor Oberst. No matter what project he's doing, no matter what band he's in, the lyrics are just so like. They're so real and they're so poetic, I guess. But yeah, and then Built to Spill is really good, and then Modest Mouse always. Their earlier albums, just how angry or like discontented they are, it's just it's easy to draw influence from that. They're just so vocal about it.
Absolutely. To have a little recap about what's coming up in the next few months for anybody that would have missed it earlier, Grief Police will be doing Halloween shows the 28th, the 29th, and the 31st.
Yeah.
To get the locations, make sure you give them a follow on Facebook, and I'm sure they're going to post the shows there.
Yep. Yeah, we have been. We've
Awesome.
also got another show on November 24th.
Okay.
After Thanksgiving. We're playing with Good View. at Razor Wire again. Um, Razor Wire Productions is down on Vinton Street in Omaha, South Omaha. They're an art gallery slash, tattoo shop slash venue. It's an amazing place.
Oh wow, that's a really cool place. What is it called?
It's called Razor Wire Productions.
I'm gonna check it out. It sounds like a really cool place.
Yeah, ask for Kevin. Tell him Grief Police sent you.
I will.
For
I
sure.
will. I won't be physically able to check it out, but I'm gonna scope it out on online for sure.
Sure.
Before I ask you guys the NYXUS question, I need to know, where can we find you guys? Can we get some merch? Give me all the details.
So we have on Facebook, you can find us just by searching Grief Police. We have about a little over 500 followers, and I think we're usually one of the first results.
Yeah.
You were the first result for me when I looked
and
to
then,
tag you guys. Yeah.
I'll check our Instagram name real quick just to be sure, but it should be Grief Police Official, I believe. Yeah, it's Grief Police _official on Instagram, and then just Grief Police anywhere else. We don't have a Twitter or anything like that, just Facebook and Instagram right now.
Well, if you look on Facebook, guys, if you type Grief Police, they are the only one with the name that has a page. So
But
there
yeah,
you go.
as far as merch, we make all of our own. And I do all the tie-dyes myself, and then we use stencils and kind of, it's all DIY. And then we've sent them to West Virginia, we've sent them to Washington, sent them to South Dakota. So even if it makes it a loss, we're willing to ship it just because,
I mean, it's always cool to see people wearing your gear and walking around with your merch.
Yeah.
That's what I like doing, especially when we go see shows here. I'll be the weird one that wears a T-shirt that is not a band that's playing that night, just because. I mean, it's more music for people to discover, right?
Yeah.
Where can we get your merch?
You can just message the Facebook page or the email. All the information is on our Facebook page, like contact info. I think my phone number is still on there.
Also, on the Instagram page, we're both tagged in the bio and on many of the posts. So if we don't answer there, we'll definitely answer on our personal pages and everything. We're not
Perfect.
super famous or anything, so we don't get a ton of messages like that.
I felt that. I just have a few messages, enough to keep me busy.
Yeah.
But it's some cool merch. I love the tie-dye.
Yeah, we got tons of different styles.
So if you guys want some T-shirts, you have what? T-shirts, sweatshirts.
Right now we've got the t-shirts and the crew neck long sleeves, and then we're starting some women's t-shirts that are like black with the reverse bleach tie-dye.
Nice. So I mean, hit them up directly to get your shirt. Merch is always a good way to help out the bands. Like you said, even if you catch a little bit of loss through the shipping, you're still helping out the band, repping their merch and walking around with it.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're at the end of the episode, so I am going to hit you with the NYXUS podcast, the NYXUS question.
Okay.
So if you guys had a chance to sit down with a younger version of yourself, very younger version of yourself in your case, what could you tell you? Like, what would you tell yourself? Like an advice, like, I mean, I always get the comments, buy Apple stock or, but if you could go back, what advice would you give yourself?
I would probably tell myself to just practice guitar a lot more than I did, because I picked it up and I played for about 2 or 3 years, and then there was a solid 2 or 3 years right after that where I just barely played at all. So I actually really just got back into playing earlier this year, and if I would have been playing that whole time, I'm sure I'd be way further ahead in skill level than where I am currently. But like, yeah, I'd probably just tell myself to keep at it and not to ignore my very expensive instruments for years.
Some good advice right there.
Mine would be to take a long look at how I value my time and take that more seriously.
That's another good advice right there. We think we have time, right? We. And trust me, 24 hours and 7 days in a week is not enough at one point. You just feel like you don't have time to do anything. So yes, take that time while you have it. Use it wisely. Is there anything you guys would like to say to anybody that could still be here watching or will be listening when we put this on streaming platforms? Is there any message you want to leave behind before you go?
Just thanks for listening, and thanks for checking out our music. And we will be uploading more in the near future. We've got 3 or 4 songs that we're working on right now. You got anything?
I mean, thanks for interviewing us.
Yeah, thank you.
I mean, it was a pleasure having you guys.
It's the
Thanks
first
for-
ever interview. It's pretty.
Yeah, this is our first interview.
Is it?
So
Oh.
thank you very much.
I love being first interviews. It's always nice. Well, you can tell that it was the first interviews. You guys were very comfortable, very laid back and relaxed. So
Good.
you got it.
Good.
You got it. I mean, hopefully you guys get more interviews. I have some friends, Robert Rosenthal, Mike Stover. That's 2 people that does interview. You got the Cake Lady does interviews. Barbie Tattoo does interviews. So if you guys want to have more interviews, I mean, there are out there. Vox and
Yeah.
Sticks, another good one. So definitely, if you guys want, I can send you a message later and hook you guys up. Well, send
Yeah,
you guys on
definitely.
your way. You guys can message them, and if they have availability, they'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds great.
Awesome. Well, I'm so happy to have had you guys here on the show. Hopefully, we can catch you guys in a few months. Like I said, when you guys have your full lineup
Yeah.
and solid, let me know and we can do something else.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Sounds
that'd be
good.
cool.
All right. Well, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Anybody that's here listening, was here listening, or will be listening, I appreciate you guys. I could not be doing this without the bands, the fans, and the people. So good night, guys. Thank you again for being here. I'll catch you sometime this week. I'm not sure.
All right, sounds good.
Thank you.
Thank you.